Today I'll be doing another director's commentary on one of my other spec spots. Actually, this was the very first spec that I shot in Hong Kong. So before I play the clip, yeah, like I said, shot this in Hong Kong. There is a portion of it that was shot in Australia. I'll tell you the reasons why later. But yeah, this was shot in Wan Chai. So Wan Chai is like a business district. That's where all the tall buildings and skyscrapers are in Hong Kong. And yeah, we were able to get a permit to shoot on one of the rooftops. But there was a time limit, a time duration. It was pretty tight. Luckily, however, because it was a spec commercial, yeah, and this one was planned out pretty well because we only had to shoot like several shots, like less than 10, I'd say around 10 shots or so that we had to nail. And I remember we had to wrap by 11 a.m. I forgot what time we were there. Maybe we were there from 8 or so, 8 or 9. So we had like, yeah, we had like, I remember we had like 3 hours or so to shoot everything. And again, everything was shot on film. So I'll play the clip and yeah, we'll discuss.
The new Canon optical zoom, so you never miss your target.
Yeah, the Canon 40D. It was a while back, as you can see. So yeah, before arriving to Hong Kong, I was looking for talent, and luckily, out of the models and actors that I reached out to, luckily I was able to get Ethan. So Ethan was our talent for the day. Yeah, he made everything easy, and his looks alone made the spot. So yeah, you can see the background. That's all real. There's no comp happening here. There's no green screen or anything. That's Hong Kong for you. And yeah, it's just it's more of a marvel to see in real life when you're actually there. When you're doing a spec, you're not just the director, you're the producer, you're planning everything. And so yeah, I was able to reach out to some film community thing, some film office, who were able to help me out in finding the right location. And yeah, this was like smack in the city. Like Wan Chai is basically right next to Central. Yeah, now there's a funny story. The rifle that he's holding, let me just... Yeah. So to shoot this in Australia, it's impossible unless you hire an armorer. So an armorer is someone who owns actual weapons, because obviously it's illegal to possess a handgun in Australia. Yeah, so this was a big factor as to why we shot in Hong Kong. And so I reached out to an armorer in Hong Kong. For those of you who haven't yet realized, the rifle that he's holding is a BB gun. It's not a real rifle. It hadn't occurred to me to actually buy a BB gun or to actually use a BB gun. I reached out to the main armorer in Hong Kong who dealt with most of the Hong Kong action films, and yeah, it was crazy. I remember we went to his place with all the guns and stuff, and he had like, what do you call it, like that big chamber, you know, like in banks. Oh, the vault. Yeah, so he had a massive vault. He opens it and there's like thousands of guns and rifles, and It was weird. And I remember in that, like inside the vault, it was quite warm because they had to control the temperature. Yeah, so that was an option, but the only thing was, yeah, the cost would have been extremely high to have him on set, to have a real gun, and to also, to deal with all the safety precautions. And then, luckily, our producer Danny, he suggested, hey, why don't you just buy a BB gun? It's way cheaper and it's legal in Hong Kong. So I had very low hopes. I didn't think that yeah, I had never thought of this as an option. And we went to Mongkok, where it's like a BB gun haven. And yeah, we bought this for how much was it? Let me just convert it. It wasn't cheap, but it was way cheaper than, yeah. So yeah, it was around 500 US, this BB gun. I mean, it's expensive, but it was big. It was like a proper size rifle, metal. It's not plastic. There were no plastic bits whatsoever, and it was huge. Like, it came with a bag, everything, and a proper scope. And you can see, like, it looked like the real thing. Yeah, so we just bought this, and afterwards, like after the shoot, we just sold it to Danny because he seemed to be pretty interested in owning a big rifle BB gun, I guess. So yeah, we gave him a good price for it. All these POV shots were shot in Australia, only because we found that it was really difficult to shoot in Hong Kong. Like, to do like a guerrilla style run and gun shooting was really hard. This opening shot here, we shot this in Chim Sa Choi, and yeah, because luckily my DP, he had his own film camera. It wasn't so big, but I guess big enough for the security guard to notice, and we just had this one shot. Luckily we got the shot, and the security guard came, stopped us. We told him we were students shooting some short film, but we got the shot before he came. And yeah, then we realized, I don't think we can shoot the POV scenes in Hong Kong, but I feel that we can get away with it by shooting it in Australia. We positioned the camera on a parking lot, and yeah, and we shot these scenes in Australia. And I mean, the shot was tight enough so that the viewer wouldn't be able to tell whether it was in Sydney or in Hong Kong, hopefully. I shot this in 2008, around August time, I remember. So yeah, how long ago was that? So here's another thing. So you see these flares, right? I mean, at the time, so I wanted the whole Michael Bay look, you know, I wanted to use the flares, like the anamorphic flares. And at the time, I think Video Copilot just released their flare package. I forget what it's called, something flare. Yeah, because before that, the only option at the time was null factory flare, which weren't great. They didn't look great, and it was really hard to animate. And yeah, so during the post-production process, yeah, Video Copilot released their flare package, and as you can see, there's a few things I obviously would have changed. I think the color is just too strong. I mean, there's just too much flares. Like, yeah, I kind of overused the flares, to be honest. That I will admit. I mean, I use this flare as a transition, however, but yeah, I feel that I used flares in scenes that were unnecessary and just doesn't make sense when it comes to physics, I guess. If I was to shoot this, I wouldn't have shot this in the middle of the day. I mean, the sun was just way too strong. I would have shot it later in the afternoon. Yeah, as you can see, there's not much the colorist can do. And this end scene.
The new Canon.
See that transition? That end scene was done again by that friend of mine in China who did the wire removal and stuff for the Nike spot. Voiceover was done by a friend of mine that I met in Hong Kong, and yeah, he's an actual voiceover artist. So Leon from the US, shout out. The concept for this was, I think the final tagline was meant to be like Canon 40D, so you never miss your target. I don't think I executed that message that well here in terms of visual wise. For us to look at it again. Yeah, because you can still clearly see the target. The target was reachable. I kind of wanted it so that the zoom couldn't zoom far enough, and this is absolutely an unnecessary flare. Look, the colors.
The new Canon
Yeah. Anyway, you learn through the whole filmmaking process. You only get better. Yeah, this was a cool shot. Yeah, shot on high speed, camera on a track, again shot on 35mm film. This one actually, so the Nike spot was shot on the RE435. This one was shot on the the model lower 345 maybe. But like I said, again, I would have shot it later in the afternoon, close to like blue hour would have been perfect. So yeah, I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's director's commentary, and yeah, if you like these kind of videos, I'll definitely do more. Like I said, I've got a Dior one, I've got an Xbox one, and I've got a sci-fi channel spec spot that I did, and I can also do director's commentary on one of my real commercial works. So, and as a reminder, I'm doing a passion project, so if you guys can help out in any way, visit my website asuahand.com. There's a donate link, and that will take you to PayPal. Visit my socials, Asua_hand, my Instagram and TikTok, Facebook, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in a later episode.